First of all, I love Newton Falls. I love our town, and I'm sure you do as well. A lot of you know my history, some of you do not. I was born in Newton Falls, I was raised in Newton Falls, and I have proudly lived here my entire life. I graduated in 1980, and I was strongly influenced by many of the great people, teachers, and coaches that I had during my education in Newton Falls. Names may sound familiar to you: Zorn, Pike, Bobby, Kaiser, Duber, my first grade teacher, Sloan, Sipka, Perrine, and many, many others. What many of you may not know, you think I've been here my whole life. When I got out of college and sought to get a job as a teacher, I was hired at Mineral Ridge High School in the Wethersfield School District. And I taught for 2 years at Mineral Ridge. And I could still be there today. However, an opening came in Newton Falls. And I took a pay cut, willingly took a pay cut, to come back to Newton Falls to try to help the youth in our community. At the time, Wethersfield School District was the second highest paying school district in Trumbull County. I gladly left to come here. And when I first got to Newton Falls, I got to work with some really fine people who put their kids and community first. People such as Mazanettes, Gillespie, Bajelic, Stamm, Robinson, Layshock, Lowett, and many others. Some of them, I'm sure, have influenced you greatly. And now as I've gotten older and kind of a dinosaur and been around for a long time, now I get to work with a lot younger and current co-workers, many of whom are in attendance tonight, and many of whom positively impact our kids every single day. My wife, you know, Laura, she's a lifelong resident of Newton Falls as well. You might have thought, well, she got a job here and taught here. Well, when she got out of school, she got a job in Hubbard and taught 4th grade in Hubbard for 4 years and was making a nice living. An opening came in Newton Falls, and Laura applied. She wanted to teach here and influence here. And Laura took a pay cut to come to Newton Falls and teach, as I know a few others in the audience have done as well, because we care more about Newton Falls than we do other things. Many of you know this will be my 29th season as head basketball coach at Newton Falls. What some of you may not know, because we have been pretty successful, is that after my first 2 years, Newton Falls had suffered 9 consecutive losing seasons in basketball, and I mean losing seasons. I didn't look elsewhere, I looked from within Newton Falls, and since then, as you know, we've done quite well, including now 9 consecutive winning seasons and winning seasons in 17 of the last 18 years. And because of that, I have been approached on a variety of occasions about, quote LeBron, taking my talents elsewhere and coaching somewhere else. But I love coaching basketball, but I've only wanted to be the coach at one place, Newton Falls. It's far more important to me to see Tigers succeeding and doing well than anywhere else. Another job for me was never an option. I want to be here. And I still say the biggest reason we've been successful is because we have created over the years, and I say we because I have just an unbelievable staff. We've created a Tiger basketball family. This doesn't happen everywhere else or with every other sport, but every one of my current assistants, every one of them are former players, residents of Newton Falls, or both. They all are vested in being Tigers. I've proudly raised my family here. A lot of people complain and look and try to say, well, I'm going to go where the grass is greener. I'm a Tiger. I want to make the grass as green as possible wherever I am. I want it to be the greenest place on earth where I am. I think we should work to make our place better, not to look what you think might be somewhere else is better than here. I got a great education here. My kids are getting a great education here. and I wouldn't change anything. But now, I am really worried. We're running out of money. My kids, your kids, and all our kids are going to be negatively impacted. That's what's going to be negatively impacted, and that's what we got to get out there. The kids are going to be negatively impacted. The state is trying extremely hard to destroy our schools and schools like ours and take away our identity and our pride. We face cuts that will impact the future of our kids. Programs will be gone. Class sizes will dramatically increase. Course offerings will be even slimmer. All of us who love Newton Falls need to take action. Today I'm speaking because our school and community face a crisis situation. I hope to show you in the next several minutes why it's critical for all of us who love our kids, our school, and our community to stop bickering about trivial things, get involved, and band together to vote yes to save our schools. When it comes to a vote, there are three types of Levy voters. Type 1 are like my parents, always positive and always support things for our community. If there's a levy for the school, the police, the fire, the city, or whatever, they vote yes. And they voted yes. And we have people that are like that. I don't need to talk to you, but my parents, just to know where they came from. My mom grew up in a family of 10, lived in a farm in eastern Pennsylvania, and they had to take care of the farm. She literally went to a one-room schoolhouse for 8 years before she continued to work the family farm. That was her education. My father went to school in Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, and was a great football star, and was looking very forward to playing big-time college football when something happened that intervened, called World War II. And my father, not being drafted, left voluntarily in February of his senior year of school to go fight for our country, and was on an aircraft carrier heading for Japan when we dropped the atomic bomb. I'm really glad we did that, or I may not be here talking to you. But my parents valued, because they did not have that education, they valued it. And I was going to go to college. No matter what, I was going to go to college. And as I said, if there was a levy for school, police, fire, or city, if it was good for our community, that was a yes. They didn't need to be convinced. They did a lot of business in town because they felt we should do business with people in town. They bought GM cars because as a local business to support our area. That's just what they did. And there are many people out there like that, and for you, I salute you. There's a second type of voter, and those are the negative and selfish people. Those are the ones where it's all about me. It's my money, it's my taxes. I'm going to vote no because I want to get for me, and I really don't care about anybody else. It's funny they say that, but those people tend to still use our schools, our libraries, our parks, our police force, our fire department, our roads, and they watch our fireworks on the 4th of July without donating anything. But they always vote no and support nothing. Unfortunately, we really can't do anything with anybody like that. The third type of voter is probably the majority. Those who are willing to listen. Those who want to gather the facts and make a wise decision that they feel is in the best interest of the community, the school, and their family. And these are the people with whom I am here to speak, and hopefully will get a chance to speak in the future. And hopefully by the time I'm finished, you too are going to be ready to show a lot of Tiger pride. You're going to be able to make a powerful statement to our state government that they can't take away our school and harm our kids even further. And hopefully you too will demonstrate your love of Newton Falls by voting and influencing your and with this audience, by influencing your family, your neighbors, your friends to vote yes for our kids and our community on November 3rd or before. But first, here are some facts about our school, our community, and our levy. And yes, I say our levy, not the levy or the school, People who tend to be negative tend to just call it the levy and the school, when in reality, this is our levy and this is our school, and we need to take ownership of that. Now, the following statements, you may not want to hear or believe all of them, but they are facts. Number one, as Mr. Woodard stated, we, the voters, have not approved any additional operating money for our schools since 1991. Nearly a quarter of a century has passed without Newton Falls taxpayers giving any money to our school district for operating funds. You know, we're supposed to compete with other schools. Champion, they passed new money in 1994 and 2013. Lakeview, who you hear is in trouble and failing a lot of levies, they passed one in 1999 and also in 2010. And most of the other school districts in Trumbull County have passed at least one levy. We've passed zero. Number two, we, the taxpayers for the Newton Falls School District, this one might hurt a little bit, we support our schools far less than any community in Trumbull County. Our millage of 37.35 is the lowest of any school district in Trumbull County. If we passed our levy, we would only pass Badger. We could pass the levy 3 times and still pay less than what the taxpayers in LeBray have agreed to pay for their children. We care whether we beat LeBray in football or basketball or whatever, but their citizens, their millage is 56.50. They support their school. Champion, 48.60. Brookfield, 57.15. You may be surprised by this. Remember, ours is 37.35. Wyndham, 53.3. Southington, 51.1. We complain about a lot of things. We need to step up. I think it's time for us to stand up and show we really do care. It's easy to say we care. Why do the taxpayers in our surrounding community support their schools and their community way more than us? We need to show our Tiger pride and put our school and community at a much more competitive level. Third, the state has been hammering at public schools and communities by taking much funding away. They've taken funding away. Our school, you say, what have they done? Newton Falls since 2009 has cut over $4.5 million from the school budget. And they've cut much more in the years before that. What more can they do? What more can they do? Somehow, we've managed to compete with these schools academically and athletically. But we're losing ground. Unfortunately, I know they consider the way of funding schools unconstitutional, but unfortunately, you, the taxpayers, are the only people who can help. The state is trying to destroy us. We cannot let that happen. Number 4, some people believe the school spends too much money and does not need the funding. As I just said, I think the school has done amazing things with the very little we have compared to others. We spend too much. Our budget, $11 million. Some of you might think, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. LeBray's budget, $13 million for the year. $2 million more than us. Champion, $15 million. And Lakeview, $18 million. Our budget, again, $11 million. Number 5, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but if this continues, it's going to happen. And consolidation, which some people think they wouldn't mind, would be a disaster for all of us. Number 1, do you understand? If we lose our school and are forced to consolidate with somebody else, all the taxpayers will assume the millage of the school we consolidate with. So your taxes will, it could be like passing 3 levies in a row. Your taxes will go way up. Even worse than that, far worse than that, we lose our identity as a school and a community. Can you imagine Newton Falls without the falls? Without the covered bridge? Without the water tower? Or without the fireworks on the 4th of July? Well, if consolidation happens, street signs aren't going to be orange and black anymore. We lose our colors. And we'll never more be known as the Tigers. We cannot allow ourselves to lose this battle. We are Tigers. We must win. We must vote yes. Why then would someone choose to vote against our school levy? I am truly flummoxed by some of the reasons. Number one, I'm voting no because my taxes are way too high. I pay enough to the school. I just went over all that. We have the lowest millage compared to other communities in Trumbull counties. We don't pay near enough compared to our neighbors. That we're downright miserly compared to the people of the LeBray School District. Number two, I'm voting no because I see no connection between the school and the community. The school doesn't do anything for me. Those people, I think, they must live under a rock because our school does an awful lot to work with and share things and get our community involved. I'm going to go quickly, but I'm missing probably double figures things. Mr. Bogus does an awesome thing with Veterans Day when all the veterans come in and we celebrate Veterans Day every year. Mr. Hill has the Adult Art Club, which you had like 30-some. It's your very first meeting where former students come back and work on art. We have the Walk Warm program that Mrs. Noski's involved with, where anybody can come in during the cold and winter days and walk in our school for exercise. We have senior citizens passes. Senior citizens don't have to pay to go to any of our events. That value is well over $200 and well more than what it would cost them to vote for our levy. We have Senior Service Day, where Mr. Shelby and some of the other teachers take seniors and they go out one day and they clean up the community. They paint, they rake, they do whatever is needed. We have, obviously, athletic contests, concerts, and plays that are open for all the public to come in to watch and enjoy. We allow the Relay for Life to be on our property every June. The Kiwanis have their track meet at our track every spring. Myself, we have with simple basketball open gym. Former players live in the community. They come in and play. I run the basketball camp every June down in the park where we have over 100 boys every year come to that. Little Tigers practice and have games at our facilities. Baseball teams and softball teams have practice, etc., etc. And I know I've missed Grandparents' Day at the middle school where the grandparents come in. I've missed a bunch of them, but I think our school is very, very connected with our community. Can you imagine if we didn't have a school? What would happen to all these things? And not to mention, you don't see the connection, your property values are tied directly to the value of the school. So no school, poor school, there goes your value of your property. Third, I'm voting no because the teachers will just want that money for raises and they are way overpaid anyhow. First of all, I'm very proud to work with the teaching staff at Newton Falls. They care. They care about your kids and they do a great job. I would not ever want to send my children anywhere else. Secondly, our teacher salaries are completely in line with the rest of the Trumbull County teachers. They're also below the state of Ohio's average for teacher salaries and well below most professions in which you need a college degree or a master's degree, which all of our teachers have, one or both. And thirdly, and most importantly, our teachers, whether you agree with it or not, I know they've really never asked for money when they weren't convinced that there was some. Our teachers understand this dire situation. And our teachers have already, even though legally we cannot begin negotiations yet, our teachers have agreed already and are committed to take a 2-year wage freeze beginning next year and the year after. They've committed to that. We've already voted on that, and that's what our teachers will do. They understand the situation. They do care. Number 4, I'm not voting for the school levy because I don't like a certain teacher. I don't like an administrator. Or there was an incident or a situation that I don't think the school handled properly. Well, some of those things may or may not be true. You think you have problems in your family that might consist of 3, 4, or 5 people, and some things might not get resolved the way everybody wants them. A school, you're dealing with an awful lot of people. There's going to be some problems, and sometimes some people are going to go home unhappy, not satisfied, and you know what? Sometimes the school may be wrong. You know, I'm wrong a lot on a lot of things. Ask Laura. We're wrong, okay? It happens, okay? But it's ludicrous to base this on your school levy vote. You know, Laura and I, like I said, we've had issues with school-related things with our children. Some of those issues were solved the way we like. Some were not. But what a dumb reason to take stuff like that out on our levy, which impacts everyone. You know, it's trying to think of how, you know, it's like saying, you know, I got food poisoning once, I'm never going to eat again. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense. Number 5, I'm voting no because the school really does not need the money, or they mismanage all of their money, or they need to cut from within. As already shown earlier, the state has killed us by cutting funding. If anything, again, our board should be applauded for how we have done so much with so little. Remember, we have trimmed over $4.5 million since 2009. We have cut almost to the bare minimum. And don't our kids deserve the benefits that LeBray, Champion, and other students get in relation to course offerings, class sizes, extracurricular opportunities? These things will be severely damaged even further if we vote no. I'm voting no because they have open enrollment in Newton Falls, and those kids are coming in and taking some opportunities away from our kids. Well, you say, what can we do for money? Our school gets approximately $5,900 for each student enrolled in Newton Falls. Anytime an open enrollment kid comes in, we're getting about $6,000. That's a source of funding. If we, the taxpayers, showed much more support, maybe the school would not have to have open enrollment. Now I hope you see, the school has no choice but to try to bring in as much revenue as possible. And even with open enrollment kids, doesn't it make you feel proud that there are a lot of people out there from other communities who want to send their children here? I think it's pretty neat. I just know one personally, a kid who always came to my basketball camp, goes to Wyndham, but the mom is a Newton Falls graduate. This year she sent her 2 children to Newton Falls. She sent them here, willingly and gladly. So those are the reasons why people may vote no. Now, why should you vote yes? Well, I think there's only a few things as to why you should vote yes. Number 1, is there a real need for more money? If you're not convinced of that by now, I have nothing else to say on that. Number 2, will bad things happen to our kids if the levy fails? I know you may not care much if something happens to the building or the employees or anything like that, but will bad things happen to our kids? You bet they will. Class size is much larger. Course offerings much smaller. Extracurriculars may be gone, or you may have to pay a steep price. much more than voting yes for a levy may be. Transportation may not be readily available. Who knows? Our kids will have the most minimal education that can be offered. Is that what we want for our kids in our community? So there's a need. Bad things will happen if we don't do this. And third and finally, do you value education? I'm disappointed by the attendance here tonight. That's somewhat of a statement. Do you value education for your children, for your community? If you think a quality education is important, the decision is easy. So there's a serious need for money. Our kids are really going to suffer if this does not pass. And I sure hope we all know the value of a good education. The decision should be easy. Because of what the state has done to all of us, we have no real choice. We have to vote yes. Will your conscience truly allow you to vote against the kids of our community? In conclusion, I would just like to say, if you have listened to all the information here tonight, our decision as Tigers is easy. We need to be loyal to our school, as the alma mater states, "Ever will our thoughts to thee be pledged in love and loyalty." And then we need to take action, as our fight song implores us to do. It's time to go, Newton Falls. It's time to fight for victory. It's time to spread far the fame of our very name. And it's time for go, you Tigers, and win this game. Newton Falls is like a family. We may fight, we may argue, but when we have to come through for our community or our school, like the tornado of '85, we do. I truly believe that the citizens of Newton Falls have pride, and as in our alma mater, loyalty. Please show your pride, loyalty, and love of our town of Newton Falls. Please show your pride, loyalty, and love for our school of Newton Falls. Please show your pride, loyalty, and love for our kids of Newton Falls. And please demonstrate all of that pride, loyalty, and love by voting yes for our kids on November 3rd or before. Thank you, and go Tigers.